Welcome back to Design Bundle's YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal, and today I'm going to show you how to organize your SVG and PNG files as well as your fonts right on your desktop. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Starting off over on designbundles.net. So as you guys can see, we've got lots of files here that I have purchased that is listed underneath my Plus membership. So what I can do is I can actually organize these right on top of my desktop by creating folders. So as you can see on the right hand side, I've already got PNG, SVG, and mockups. So to create one, what you're going to do up here at the top left, you're going to click on File, and then you're simply just going to come down until you see New Folder. And then from here, you can name it. So for example, we'll name this one Laser. So just like that, and then you can just kind of organize these and make them nice and neat on your desktop like so. So once again, let me go ahead and show you again. Let's say, for example, we want to create another one. I'm going to come to File, and then I'm going to go to New Folder once again. And this time, I just simply typed out font. Now, with these folders, we can actually create one specific. So say, for example, I want to create a folder that is specific for all of my design bundle files. So I'm going to create one more folder, and this time I'm going to name it Design Bundles. So that way, here in a second, to clean up our desktop even further, I'm going to grab all of these files and we're going to drop them right inside. So I'm just naming this Design Bundles. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all of these by just dragging my mouse over all of them, and it's going to highlight them all like so. And then I'm just going to grab it with my mouse, and then I'll hover above until it starts to kind of glow, and then drop them right inside. So now that just organizes your desktop even further because I have one folder named Design Bundles. Once I double click on it, it's going to open it, and then from there I have fonts, laser, mockups, PNGs, SVGs. Now we can go even further. So say, for example, we click on one of these like the font, we'll just kind of double click here. We can, add another folder right inside. So say, for example, I want to, create folders that are script, regular font, and all of those things. I would come back up here to File. I would go to New Folder, and then I would name this one, for example, Script. So right inside of the font folder, I could have them specifically to the type of font. Same thing with laser. I could have all of my gnomes, all of my jewelry boxes or jewelry. I could really narrow all of those down, Christmas, Easter, etc. So the same thing with our, PNGs and SVGs and things like that. We could create a PNG, we could put stickers, we could put, sublimation and all of those things as well. So as you can see, I've got all of these kind of just floating in here. I'm going to go to File, New Folder, and for this one here, we're going to name it our Sublimation folder. So that way we can drag and drop those inside. Now, once again, you can go even further and you could name all of these, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, so you know where all of those files are specifically. So same thing with the SVG. You can have all of those things as well. You could do multi-layers. You could do it to where, once again, holidays or maybe sarcastic. So once again, you could really clean this up, especially if you have a business, a small business. You need really quick access to get to those files. Say, for example, if it's Christmas time, or maybe you're doing stuff for the schools and you have one labeled for, the Dardanelle High School, one labeled for the rest of the high school, etc. So that way you have all of those. Now what I'm going to do to make this quicker, I'm going to make my screen one smaller, the file folder smaller, kind of bring this out a little bit. So that way, whenever I go to drag and drop these, it just makes it so much easier. So I'm going to go to my Plus purchases, and then from here, what I want to show you is, with us, you don't even have to do this to your desktop. If you want to save that space, you could keep them right here and just search. Say, for example, cow. I could search Christmas. I could search, for example, leprechaun, leopard, all of those things. And I'm going to be able to store them right here. I can download them and re-download them as many times as I want to. And we're going to take up the space instead of the space on your computer. Now, if you want to, once again, we're going to hit download. And then what we're going to do is, I want to teach you another thing. Inside of each of these folders, it may come with a PNG, SVG, DXF, ESP, EPS. Somebody taught me a long time ago, if you don't need all of these, don't keep them on your desktop. So say, for example, I don't use the DXF file and I don't use the EPS. Right away when I open this, I can actually select both of those and I can delete them right away. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select both of these, and then we're just going to go ahead and quickly delete them, just like this. All right, so now what we're going to do is pop right up here, and then we can move to trash. So now it leaves us with PNG and the SVG file. So that's what I highly recommend right away when you download these to your computer. Open those files and delete what you don't want so it's not taking up space. It's going to be a lot harder later on. So what I could actually do is I could take this entire folder with the name and drop it down into, say for example, my PNGs or whatever, or just specifically my design bundles. Now, if I want to separate them per se, I could double click on it as well, put the PNG with the PNG, the SVG with the SVG. So as you can see here, drag and drop this into the PNG, this one into the SVG version, because I may not necessarily need to keep those together. Now, if I wanted to have it under a folder under design bundles, and it wasn't necessarily specific to PNGs and SVGs, I would just have it underneath the holidays. So for example, we'll create another folder here. We're going to name this one Easter here. And then we will also do another one that is Christmas. So you could definitely just do it under holidays and not necessarily breaking them all the way down to PNGs, SVGs, etc. So as you guys can see, we've got our holidays there. That's another thing you can do. Now to go ahead and back it up here really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and show you one more really quick. So we'll come back over here to our file of downloads, and I'm going to come to another one, which is right here. So say for example, I don't want all of this. I just need this PNG. I'm going to go straight away. I'm going to grab that PNG, and we're going to drop it straight into our sublimation. So I know that this one, I just want it underneath my sublimation folder. I'm just going to drop it right in there. And now what I can do is I can click on that folder. It's still highlighted. So just like this right here, I could come up here to file or edit, if you will, and I can go to delete just to get that right back off of my computer right away. All right, so now let me go ahead and show you what about font. So here's some of our font files. As you can see, they are the TTF right here. I can just simply drag and drop these right into my font folder. So that way I don't have to download them on my computer right away if I don't want to. As I'm buying these and as I'm downloading them, I could go ahead and just drag and drop them into my font folder until I'm specifically looking for a certain font. I could come in here, double click on whichever one I'm wanting to use and install it right onto my computer. So for example, we'll come up here and just double click on one so I can walk you all the way through that. So for example, let's go ahead and just put the one at the top, double click, and then you're just going to hit install, and that's it. So that, my friends, is how I install and organize all of my SVG and PNG files. As you guys can see how helpful it is to get all of those files organized. I hope you guys have found this inspiring or helpful in some sort of way. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.